TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by Brian Leonard and Tony Finn. All right, we're talking Friday night game, Marshall at Boise State. And I have a little snippet I'm going to read you guys from the Gold Sheet. This has been a tricky role lately for the Broncos, just 16-35 in their last 51 as favorites on the blue carpet. Meanwhile, the Herd has covered 8 of their last 10 as an underdog and 7 straight away from home as Conference USA versus non-Conference USA. That being said, Boise State's a little bit better than I thought. Now, granted, maybe I'm not as high on Florida State. That wasn't a game I got involved in. Boise State capitalized a few times and really took me by surprise winning that game. Mr. Leonard, I'll start with you.
I disagree.
Okay.
On the Boise side, you had a Boise team that ran 108 plays in that heat last week. That's what cost Florida State the game. They were winning that game, I believe, by 12 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they were going in for a touchdown. The running back fumbled the ball. It was a totally different game. So that was 108 plays was 46 more than what Florida State ran. So you had a defense that was on the field a lot in that game. If you take a look at yards per play for the entire game, the Seminoles outgained them by over a yard per play. The Broncos lost the turnover battle 3-2, and they don't have anything to look forward to. They got an FCS school. But Marshall's one of those teams that's staying under the radar right now. I like this Marshall team. They crushed VMI last week on the ground, 6.1 to 2.1 yards per carry. That's 4 yards per carry more than, and granted, it's an FCS school, but they produced 5 touchdowns and only 36 passes. They did everything they wanted last week against VMI. Now, granted,
It's VMI.
It's VMI, but I think people are buying into the Boise a little bit too much based on the way that game played out. Sure, they won the game. There were circumstances that affected it from the Florida State side. I'm leaning towards the dog here, and I may end up playing them.
I like it. Me too. Tony, 3's a party?
No.
What?
No.
It
was VMI.
I feel like you're supposed to agree. That's how we usually do.
If I did, and you both, I'd counter everything. But anyway, even if I like VMI.
He just likes to argue.
Okay. Tell me why you think you're going to, do you think?
Well, Brian kind of made my case, really. In truth, if there was a team that was supposed to be better in the humidity, better at home, better in Tallahassee than a little mountain town out west here, it's supposed to be Florida State. Florida State pretty much did everything they wanted to do in the first half, and Boise just kind of counterpunched, and felt out their true freshman quarterback. Really, the second half was a better picture, a clear, painted picture of how much better this Boise team is than the last 4 or 5. And you mentioned, I think you can just throw those stats of being home chalk on the blue turf out the window. This is what this team does better than any of the last 4 teams at Boise is pressure the quarterback. They've been horrible about forcing turnovers the last 4 or 5 years. It's been a big Achilles for them. They haven't pressured. They sacked Florida State, I think, 4 times. But in truth, Marshall's a one-hit wonder, if I can use a musical term, and that is that Isaiah Green, as Isaiah Green goes, so goes Marshall. And all you have to do is get this kid out of the pocket and let him pass when he's on the move. His numbers on the move are so much worse than when he's in the pocket, although he's a dual threat and he can run. Boise can be thrown on, and that's why they're pressure. That's why they won last week. First off, it's 4 sacks, the pressure they put on Florida State, and the fact they wore them down. A team on their home turf that's supposed to be used to that kind of weather. This Boise. These are both Group 5 teams that are supposed to be good this year, right? Boise's on a completely different level, and they win by 3 touchdowns.
Okay, that's all I need him to win by is 3 touchdowns, because the spread's 24.5. Brian Leonard.
The spread's not 24.5.
23. What was it when I just last looked?
How about 5?
No.
Oh, well, I like 5 better.
Looked.
You made 24.
Now you're going to make. Now you're going to.
I disagree with him because Boise did well against.
Ooh, 11.5. You're right.
Yeah. So you don't want his 21 then? You take.
No.
I'll give you 5.
But he talked about the Florida State offense. The Florida State offense couldn't protect the quarterback 2 years ago. They couldn't protect the quarterback this year. We knew Florida State's problem is their offensive line. So I would not buy into Boise in that regard. It was a hot day. I'm giving Florida State a little bit more credit than a lot of people are based on the talent level. I mean, they got great talent. Marshall's going to be right in this game.
All right. Great stuff, guys. All access packages for 30 days, normally priced at $325, just $199 this week at WagerTalk and sportsmemo.com.